Okay, just got done reading from the Song of the Spirit. Going to move on to the last book, Love and Nothing Else. This was published this past year. This is a book that really turned the page for me on a lot of different things. And it's probably, for me, the most meaningful of my books personally. It's about meeting my wife, dating her, having kids. That's what most of it is about. It's definitely a book of love, I guess, to the romantic family, kind of even the grinded out kind of love that I think is a part of marriage, the difficult times. I think that's in here maybe a little bit, but mostly it's just a simple book. It's the shortest of the books that I've published. I think it's about 10,000 words. So a lot of them are very short poems. It also has my favorite poem that I've written that's in here that we'll get to in the end. And I really enjoyed writing it, and it's probably my favorite up to now, but I say that like with every book, I guess, at the time, you know what I mean? It's the latest, but it's a special one for me. Okay, this first poem is titled Confession. I was advised to share my medical diagnosis of having bipolar disorder and alcoholism very early in our dating. It seemed better to do this in the beginning, before any strong feelings got really started. It was on the third date that I told her those things. We met at Mirage on Preston for lunch, and she brought me a bag of Ghirardelli chocolates. And I told her and that she could ask any questions that she wanted. She appreciated the honesty. I went home after that date and really thought that that would be the end of it. She called me later that day and said something on the lines that we could be friends. But of course, that's not how things turned out. All right, let me also say just here, I'm a much better writer and I guess thinker than I am a speaker and performer. So I apologize for kind of stumbling on words here and there. Preparing to do these videos, I didn't like go back and reread every poem, or really any of the poems obsessively, trying to like memorize them and things like that. And I don't sit around and read my own work. Typically, I'll have some days every now and then I'll think of a poem and I thought, oh man, I'd like to take a look at that I've written and go back and look at it. But for the most part, I don't, once it's done, I don't go back and look at things. And so, sometimes where the words are at, I kind of stumble upon them. So forgive me for that. Just wanted to make that point. So sorry about that kind of confusion a little bit. Anyways, again, this is typical of this book, just very short poems. This is called Sketches of Spain. If the apocalypse ever comes, if nuclear bombs ever drops, if love lies dying and dreams stop, I hope I'm lying in bed with you at the time, writing a poem about love, listening to Miles Davis's Sketches of Spain. And by the way, Sketches of Spain is one of my favorite Miles Davis's albums. Kind of Blue, of course, is kind of, everyone loves that, and I love Kind of Blue myself. It's unbelievable. but Sketches of Spain is a pretty close second, and the sound of the Spanish aspect is kind of unique. You just have to hear it. It's a great piece of music. So my wife is Chinese, and she came over to the United States to go to graduate school. And so there are cultural differences between us. Anyways, this is kind of a humorous poem called Cultural Differences. Cultural differences. We decided that we were going to have pork chops for dinner. They were frozen, and she said to put them under the electric blanket and thaw them that way. Now, I try and do what I'm told, and I thought that's a strange way to thaw meat, but maybe that's the way it's done in China. She came home and asked about the pork chops, and I checked and told her that they were still frozen under the electric blanket. Ha ha! And I found out that thawing meat is universal, like love. So, yep, that is a true story. She just laughed at me. All right, this is titled Love. Let me back up and start that again. Love. Light the candle, let it glow, let the wax drip slow. I'm spinning. My head hits the pillow, no more tossing and turning, no more looking for home. The morning awakens. She sets me free as we slowly dance wistfully while the world is aflame. Okay, this next poem is called We. You and I in love is we. She is with me in the quiet night. She is here naked under the covers to kiss me on the ear, to love me, to talk to me as the sun comes up. You and I in love is we. Yeah, so some of them are just very short poems, and when I was putting this together, I randomly thought that I had like 35, maybe even 40 poems at the time, and I went back and looked at them, and it was more around the number of 50. And so I thought to myself, if I could just write like 20, 25 more poems, I could make a book. And so I kind of went to work on that and got those finished, and so put it all together. But it was surprising how quickly it came together, because I just didn't know that I had written so many, around 50. I thought it was much fewer. So anyways, this is titled Our House. We had that look in our eyes and went to the jewelry store to look at diamonds and rings. I always wanted to go to Sedona. I heard it was very beautiful and mystical, so we booked 2 plane tickets. We checked into our room and went hiking on one of the beautiful sandstone mountains. I decided to propose then, at the beginning of the trip, on the mountain. Despite talking about getting married, looking for an engagement ring, I was nervous. It wasn't the fear of her saying no, but of the enormity of the door we were opening. We were on a plateau. I walked away from her and then said, "Hey, come over here. Come look at this." I didn't get down on one knee because of the nerves, but when she asked, "What is it?" I pulled out the ring and asked. I picked up a sandstone rock where we were standing and put it in my pocket, almost in a biblical Native American fashion. Upon this rock, we decided to get married. This was October 2016. We were engaged. We drove to the Grand Canyon, hiked in the desert, and enjoyed the red and tan shades of beautiful Sedona. We flew home the night the Cubs won the World Series. We weren't living together, but after we were engaged, I moved my possessions in, sold my house, and put the money I made from the sale on the amount owed on her house, which became our house. This poem is significant to me. It's almost dealing with fate and destiny and that kind of stuff. It's titled, What's in a Name? I had the very cliched moment of clarity when I was a patient at Caritas Peace 20 years ago and realized I am an alcoholic. I was in group therapy and said that I drank because I was lonely. A heavyset African American woman then said, direct quote, "We've picked someone out for you." That statement did two things. It played with my head, but it allowed me to relax because I believed what she said. We had our first date in June, and by Christmas we were an exclusive couple. Not sure when that happened, but we talked about it. We were driving to my dad's house to put up some Christmas lights for his annual party. We were at a traffic light, and Jen casually said, "My name in Chinese means truth." Later, we were at Highland Coffee, and she wrote down the character of her name and also her last name. She said that her combined name means the ability to discern right from wrong. I think about the strings that had to be pulled for us to meet. She was born on the other side of the world, spoke Chinese before learning English, lived in a different culture, and only came to the U.S. for graduate school at the University of Cincinnati, and we met in Louisville, Kentucky. Everything is a miracle or nothing is. Sorry. Excuse me. Allergies got to me on that one. I also really like this poem. I mean, I like all my poems, but I do have favorites, and I think that others are better, that some are better than others. And I like this poem. It's also a poem that uses a lot of repetition, which allows to build rhythm. I feel the hope of the spring. This will end, this disease. This will end, this quarantine. This will end, this injustice. Set it right, sings the songbird. Set it right, sings creation. Set it right as we listen to our deepest dreams. This will end as all ends, to begin, and what is set aside, who is forgotten, will shine. It is ending this ancient cold. It is ending this cold blush sunset. It is ending this bare winter. Oh, I see it in the spring. Oh, I see it in the summer. Oh, I see it in the fall. Oh, I see it in the winter. It will end these harsh words. It will end these thoughtless actions. It will end this poisoned atmosphere. It will end this war on humanity. The howl lessens to breeze. The bitterness melts in the light. The hardness softens at dawn. Lighting love in bed with your head on my shoulder. You're all I have, she breathes. Hold me with love, I cling. Let us arise, our souls aflame. Believe in peace. Hope for peace. Live in peace this spring. Just need to mark something here. Okay. This is another short poem called Summer Garden. I can't think rationally while washing dishes in the sink. Coltrane's my favorite thing. My favorite things bounce around me, through me, and I feel every note. I go outside and reach. My fingertips touch the day, the disappearing sun, the sky, the stars, the clouds, The night, the stars pulsing blue, with my love unceasingly reaches for you. I take these things and plant them in the ground and wait for them to bloom, thinking of the harvest moon. All right, so this is titled Day One, and this is about the birth of my first son, Luca, and it was something else. So here we go. Day one. When the nurse told us that our one-day-old son wasn't breathing properly and his heartbeat was irregular, at that moment I was not an atheist or agnostic or a Christian or a Buddhist, not a Muslim or Hindu. I'm not Jewish or any other member of a dignified system of belief. My well thought of, often pondered conception of God went out the window. I'm a new father throwing up a naked prayer asking for help, and it's difficult to say, your will be done, when it's my son. It's difficult to feel faith when fear seizes. It's difficult to breathe when the wind has been knocked out of me. But I say that unfiltered prayer, and I remember that God has a track record of answering the cries of the desperate. So I begin to breathe even as I learn about EKGs and ultrasounds and blood tests and cardiograms. I want God to take a wand, make him well right now, right now, right now. But God doesn't have a wand or a spell. She has time. And the hearts and hands of the nurses, technology for thoughtful doctors, and an unceasing, unrelenting, all-consuming, passionate, faucet wide open, epic love for all her children, both grown and small. Giving. Okay, let me say this about this poem and kind of about mothers and my wife in particular. So my wife is smarter than I am, and she is also a lot tougher than I am. And I mean, I've got to say that it's my experience that mothers are, and I don't know, maybe women in general, I guess, but are tougher. I know that Jen is, she's pretty tough. And mothers just have to be, because I couldn't deal with the exhaustion and what my wife went through and women go through with children. So anyways, this is called Giving. You wake up at 2 a.m. and your mother is tired, exhausted. I'm less so, as she has taken most of the responsibility of getting up at night to comfort you, to feed you. So I've taken over feeding you, hoping she can get some rest. I want her to sleep as much as she can, but she gets up at 4 a.m. to pump milk. Then she wakes up at 7 a.m. to go to work. This is a mother, setting aside her needs for yours. The act of unselfishness. I battle this because I'm selfish in many ways and don't possess the giving that she has. And I mean, that's like a hard chunk of truth, I guess, for me to admit to, but I mean, admit freely to it, that she's more giving than I am. I mean, I try, but, and I wouldn't consider myself a bad father at all or a bad husband. I think I'm pretty good, but I can't compare. Okay, this poem is called Coming Home, and the title comes from a John Legend song, and you probably won't hear it in this, but in the beginning of that song, there's like this piano melody that when I heard it, the piano melody, I put this poem together. It's called Coming Home. In the dim light, in bed, we're castaways, drifting away. Silence upon us, our shore safe, untouched by the world. Luca and Micah sleep and dream of simple things, like love and kings and queens. May enchantment never leave. A wife, children, these dreams now come true. What is left but praise and gratitude? O God, who am I? What did I do so outstanding when I've done so little to have received so much? And I mean, that's in the poem, but I mean, I totally believe that wholeheartedly, that I've done relatively little to have the life that I have. I've followed some suggestions and advice. I've taken actions to help to keep me sober. But all of those things, when I look at my life and what I've been given, it's very small. And the things that I've done for me, the things that I've done, I think that people who, if someone else were placed in my position, they would kind of do the same thing. I don't think I've done very much special in far as just being able to put one foot in front of the other at times. This poem is called Aces, and I do love to play poker. For many years, Friday nights I would go over to my grandfather's house and play poker with him and my uncle and family, whoever was kind of passing through. It was there were different family members who had come through, and we would play poker almost every Friday night. And my grandfather lived till he was 103, and he was still playing poker about 6 months before he passed away. And that's kind of when I knew, like, man, he's starting to decline, because he was forgetting how to play games that he had been playing since he was like 10 years old, which, isn't surprising. I mean, he was 103. He's, gonna show decline, right? So, anyways, I think of him and the times that we had playing poker over at his house on Friday nights. It's called Aces. Music turned up, windows rolled down, hearing every sound, with the babies in the back, can't get enough of Dead and Company, while I spot a dreadlocked hippie, sporting an untrimmed beard, in uniform, wearing skinny jeans, Vans, oversized toboggan, protesting conformity. Head to a speakeasy where the night's host gets goosed by the Holy Ghost. So money for the poor, out the back door. I sit down to play poker all night, and on my first hand, win a space flight to Jupiter. Catch a star, sail away. Morning comes, the sun is on the rise, and I have rings on my fingers and a gleam in my eye. I have a pocket full of money. My ace is down, spoke without a sound, now homebound, to be with the ones I love. Yeah, that's definitely, I really like that poem. It's a good one. It's a fun one. All right, this is called Roses. To love you two is cotton candy, Cracker Jacks, 9 innings, and you both fall asleep on the way home. It's easy to love you two wearing your rain jackets, boots, rain hats, and we watch you play in the rain, one to the nearest puddle where you promptly sit down. It's easy to love you two, holding you, playing hide and seek, hiding in the laundry room, and mommy asks if you are in there and you answer no through the closed door. It's easy to love you two, washing you both in bubbles, our nightly routine, and you dry in your fox towel. Then daddy puts on your pull-up and pajamas. We watch you rustle before reading books, before sleep. You all are our fresh roses in our windowsill, a reminder of love during times of difficulty. We will always comfort you like milk and honey soothes afternoon tea. This poem is called The Happiest of Days, and this poem was written in the time period of COVID and also with the social, political unrest that was brought on by George Floyd's death, by Breonna Taylor's death, and I live in Louisville. Of course, Breonna Taylor was killed here in Louisville, and so this was one of just a crazy time due to COVID and because of everything that was going on around the country. And it's called The Happiest of Days. These are the happiest of days. The virus, the fear, the politics, the tension, the pain, the unrest, the chaos of love overcoming. The struggle of humanity is to see you as we, different, yet the same. This goes on outside while I spend time with you homebound, watching you in your dance, seeing your joy. And now it's nap time. Your head is on my shoulder as I rock you. Your breathing slows as I rock you. Your eyes are heavy. As I rock you, we drift. You to sleep, me into the moment. Okay, and this poem is titled My Sons. You were both conceived in the dream from where we all came, where we all return. And that dream will never die as long as a drop of love permeates in an ocean of fear. And you are that drop of love, among many, always turning the tide. And remember that no matter what you've done or who you've hurt, love is waiting, forgiveness is yours. Be kind to yourselves. This is your blessing. I hope that you all don't win all your battles, but learn from all your losses. Okay, let me see how much is left here. Check the time. Determined to get through this. Maybe skip some. Okay, this poem is called Poet Again. I haven't worn those clothes in years, and yet I'm going to slip them on to see if they still fit. They're the ones with attitude, defiant. They're the ones that were destined to take a stand. The label says poet. I put them in the back of the closet because they didn't fit anymore. All seems to be falling down. I stand with my country, torn, battered, divided, hated by one, hated by the other. That's not something I want to participate in. Our souls are not red or black, or red or blue or black or white. These colors are powerful in our humanity, but meaningless to the spirit. Our history is oppression, division, racism, and violence, but also redemption and inspiration, a desire to be more and better than what we are. So I look at those clothes, torn by experience, singed by the flames of madness, patched by the hope of recovery. I'm hesitant to put them on. They take me where I can get lost in my mind. Fear says no one will ever be so moved as to do anything or change anything. Fear might be right, but goodness and love matter to me, so I pick up those clothes, washed clean by living water. Poet again. Let's see what time it is. Okay. Okay, this is called Poet Dream Number 5 a.m. And this poem does come from a dream that I had, that I woke up at about 5 a.m. And the thing about it is that it didn't really turn out to be what I was dreaming, but I did write some of it down. And I like this poem because of the first sentence. It's very meaningful to me. And that's why this poem stands out for me. It's called Dream Number 5 a.m. I've spent too many days escaping, a prison of my own making. In the blink of an eye, I see, clutching the keys of clarity. Once again, I walk through the open door, touched by the dawn ascending, filling me with hope. All right, just trying to get through the bare bones of this. I had some more poems picked out, but I guess I'll do 3 more. Yeah, definitely 3 more. I'm just gonna take these and set them aside and do 3 more. Try to get through them. And last poem I'll read will be my favorite poem. Okay, this is called Delusion Number 1. The goal is not to sell books or make money or become well-read and famous. That is not my motivation for getting out of bed in the morning. The goal is the kingdom of God, wholeness, peace among all people. It's with this in the forefront that I live out my life, constantly on my mind with the main questions of what do I need to do or don't do and when. I am seeking the kingdom of God, and with an assurance that peace is imminent. It's to draw looks of disbelief. It's to be called delusional. And if I'm delusional, it served me well. It's a beautiful delusion, a time without war, without pain or tears, without fear or scarcity, a time of peace and reconciliation. And I also wonder what your delusions look like. We're all on a sliding scale. And I've given a lot of thought to the idea of delusions, and that's been my conclusion, is that we're all on a sliding scale. I think it's delusional to think that if you think that you don't have any delusions and all you're thinking is correct, to me that's delusional. I question my thinking all the time. Not all the time, but quite a bit when it comes to certain things, and I think that's a healthy thing to do. Sorry, say that respectfully. Okay, this is called Imagine. I'm taking you to this moment to imagine peace. There's no blood in the streets or smoke in the air, and no one is screaming or mourning. We're connected by our shared pain and love. Can you get there? The rivers are pure and clear. The air is fresh and new. The earth's soil is renewing. The rain is falling hope for the crops. The oceans are healing. The atmosphere is clearing. We are resting. There's a lightness, frivolity within our humanity. Our leaders are guided by love and nothing else except the desire to help the helpless. Homes are being built. Minds and spirits and bodies are being freed from age and trauma. Racism and all the other isms are banished. Fear of each other is in the past. We see each other only with love, only with love, only with love. That's called Imagine. All right, this is my last poem that I'll read. Definitely the favorite probably that I have ever written. It's actually not extraordinarily long. It's something that we say to I say to my kids all the time, and other people say to their kids all the time. We say, we love you so much. And that's what this poem is about. It's in different parts too. 1, 2, 3 parts. Okay, part 1. Sunbeams. When we tell you that we love you so much, it means that our love for you too is greater than all the stars burning in the heavens, than all the salt dissolved in the endless oceans, than all the sands resting in the unforgiving Sahara. Our love is greater than all the whistling winds that have forcefully blown, than all the dreamers' dreams that have ever roamed, than all the clouds obscuring sunlight on cold winter days. Our love is greater than all the blades of grass growing from the bountiful earth, than all the snowflakes that have uniquely fallen, than all the roses walking in the newborn spring. Our love is greater than all the pumpkins tanning in the harvest fall, than all the slow sunsets that have spectacularly faded, than all the long nights gratefully erased. Our love is greater than all the songs solemnly remembered, than all the tears that flood gentle rivers, than all the bittersweet memories of lost loved ones. Our love is greater than all the heartache that addiction has created, than all the secrets that need to be told, than all the trauma healing in broken hearts. Our love is greater than all the injustices not righted, than all the words angrily spoken, than all the promises of peace that have been broken. Our love is greater than all the smoking barrels coloring the ground crimson, than all the bombs horribly maiming, than all the captives chained by fear. Part 2. This is the love passed through generations. This is the love waiting for past yet taken. This is the enduring love God has for all people. Part 3. Our love is all the stories we tell you before bedtime, the pain we feel that comes with your tears, the fear that we feel when you're ill. Our love is the times we've seen your innocence smiling, when we pick you up at the end of the day from school, watching you explore your world of imagination. Our love is all the times you've slept on our shoulders rocking, is all the nights with sleep sacrifice, is the world we hope you see. Our love, you will never have to earn it. Our love, you will always have its beautiful mystery. Our love for you too is full of sunbeams and awe. All right, that's covering a lot of the work in 5 books. I would say that's probably about 10 to 15% of everything that I've written, recorded over 5 different sessions. If you're so inclined, check out Cecil Publishing. There are some other videos on the website. There are ways to buy the books from Amazon. There are also additional writings that are on the book, or on the web. There's additional writings on the websites. Some of the writings that we've covered tonight will be on the websites, and there'll be more information there.